Hi friends, I'm Shauna. Welcome to the channel and welcome to another day of Vlogmas. Today I have the long-awaited, much asked for makeup inventory update. When it comes to the end of the year, at the beginning of the year, I actually get asked a lot, like, when are you going to do an inventory? Or I want to see a makeup collection video. And here it is. I don't do makeup collection videos only because I do makeup inventory videos fairly regularly, and I feel like you get to see all of my collection in these. We're going to get started, and I'm not just going to be going over my numbers for December 2022. I'm also going to be comparing my numbers to May of this year as well as December of last year. So we're going to get a full year scope of inventories. And I actually had a plan of doing my makeup inventory 3 times this year. That did not happen. And I really think that moving forward, we're just going to do a mid-year update and then an end-of-year update in December or January, just kind of wherever I feel like it's going to fall. And guys, I find this particular inventory really interesting, not so much because there's colossal differences, but because my perspective on makeup and inventories in specific has really changed in the last year. Stick to the end to hear about that, because I feel like what you'll see is balance in this video, and stick to the end to hear more about that and my new kind of perspective. So we're going to get into it, and we're going to start with primers. In December of 2021, I had 4 primers. This May, I had 4 primers, and now I have 3. Funny enough, only one of the primers are the same across the last year. I actually finished a lot of primers this year. At least 3. I think it might just be 3. And I think that next year I'll probably move through a similar amount, maybe not 3 or 4, but probably 2. What I think you'll notice going forward is that I'm not too worried about many of these categories. There's some that I'm just scratching my head at and, need to, let's say the reins need to be kept in, but I feel like my self-management has been really good, like over the last year to have, and even further, like when you look further into 2021, my primers, I think, only get up to about 5. And so 3 to 5, and to be able to maintain that, basically since my no-buy is just, I think, a testament to a development of a habit. Now let's go to foundations. In December, I had 8. May, I had 8, and now I have 5. I got through so many foundations in the last year. I finished 4 this year alone, which I am really proud of. And 2 of these foundations that I currently own are from before this year. So majority of my foundations are new. And I think, just kind of given where my life is headed, I'm probably going to be going through more foundations than ever, which is kind of exciting to me because that means I get to play a little bit more than I normally would. Just wearing makeup 2 to 3 times a week. Now I'm wearing makeup 5 to 6 times a week. So I think that's maybe an upside. I mean, buying more makeup is not necessarily an upside, but if there is an upside to that and working and things like that, that would be it. When I mentioned with the foundations, I'm talking about this idea of balance. What I mean is that I don't really feel the need to set strict goals for most of these categories. So foundations, I understand why that number is the way that it is, because the 2 that I have, my oldest 2, are Merit. And once those go out, I really see me only kind of having 3 to 4, just depending on the type of foundation as well as the coverage and the color. And so I don't think I'm ever going to be that person who's ever going to have 1, and that's totally fine with me. But if it goes up to 5, that would be fine. But if it kind of hovers around 3, that's cool. And here's the thing, if it hovers around 3, that means that in a year, I could theoretically buy 1, at most 2 to kind of play around with, which is what I really like, is to have that everyday core product, or, I'm a mixer, so probably 2. And then there's likely the third one to be a straggler, like a summer color. And then because I know I'm going to get through products and I don't feel uncomfortable having 4 or 5, then I can, buy one during a sale if there's a formula that I really feel like I would like to use or try. And I would also believe that I could finish it up. So this is kind of an exciting category, at least for me going forward. There's not necessarily a ton of foundations I would like to try, but there's a few I have my eye on, and I could probably try those in the next year to 2. And you never know, it's going to be released in the market as well. All right, concealers. I had 5 in December of last year. I had 4 in May. I currently have 3. Plus, in all of those, I've had this one concealer palette. And where that has sat or how I've qualified it, it's kind of jumped around a little bit from update to update. And I always feel like I settle on something and then I'm not happy with it. So we're just kind of thrown in the concealer category. They're all, like how I've tallied them, is 5+ palette or 3+ palette. The palette is getting older, and I actually have had a lot of fun playing with it in the springtime. And I didn't mention it in my planning to pan video, but now I'm considering, what if I pan that? Because that would be a super fun product to pan. At least I think. Like, I've used all the colors and I've had fun and can use all of them. So I might actually be tossing that into a project next year. Because with that palette, if I don't use it, if I'm not intentional about using it, if I don't actually put it in a project, then I'm not going to use it. So I think that's a perfect project pan item. Moving forward for powders, last December I had 5. In May I had 3, and right now I have 4. And I've had this powder that I got as a birthday gift in July sitting at my front door since July. I haven't unpacked it or anything. So I finally took it out and added the items to my numbers. I have moved through quite a few powders this year, and I recently did buy 2 within a roughly 3-month period. And with powder, I'm really utilitarian, so that's not all that common. Like, I don't necessarily have this pressing need to try all these powders or feel like I need different formulas like foundation. So I do think that this number is probably going to stick to something like 2 to 3. It's just a little higher than normal right now, but genuinely not a concern. And we're also talking about 1 more than normal. So that's not a big deal. Okay, bronzer time. In December, I had 4. In May, I had 3. Now I have 3. 2 of the 3, like since May, are the same. Only 1 is different. And I did get the putty bronzer, which I am loving. So I think this is a category. Listen, there's a lot of these creamy blushes that I'm super interested in. There's one from Say, there's one from Tarte, there's one from NARS. I mean, maybe not the NARS one because I don't know about the shade range on that, but at least the ones from Tarte and Say, I've been looking at them. They're intriguing me, but they're kind of lower level wish list items. They're not things that are on top of mind, things that I'm just absolutely lusting after. And I have 2 powder bronzers that are going to take a hot minute to go through. So I really don't need 3 bronzers. I don't. Because I only ever use 1. And this is a testament to that. I have 2 powder bronzers, and I've been flip-flopping them in my makeup bag because I'm like, these are basically the same color. They're such a similar formula. I can't really tell the difference between them. So they kind of dupe each other out in that sense. So I don't need 2 powder bronzers. And I would love to pan 1 this year, not because I feel this pressing need to slim down my collection, but I just have 2 things that function the same way where having 2 just is useless. As for the putty bronzer, I have no regrets about bringing that in. It's just been super fun to play with. So it's at least shown me that I like cream bronzers as a category, and that in the future when I finish it up or finish 2 up, that there's some more that I would be interested in bringing in. Or trying at the very least, because I think I would like them. Okay, highlighter. I had 5 in December, 5 in May, and 4 now. I haven't finished any highlighter. I have moved 1 out, and it's now in my art bin. I actually, one of the greatest pleasures I have in doing art is taking that freaking ColourPop highlighter and just like go and hang with it on a page. Honestly, it's actually so much fun. That's if you're ever wondering how to repurpose makeup products, use them for art. I use them for glitter purposes all the time. So that's largely the difference as to why there's 4. Now, blushes. This was a category I have been waiting for because I combined my Hourglass blushes. So I have 1 less, technically. And okay, so let me just give you the numbers. In December, I had 13. In May, I had 16. And now I have 16. I was absolutely furious when I saw 16. I was like, no, count that again. I forgot that I got a blush from Lara. So it's the same. I still have 16 blushes. I guess it's a good thing that the one I brought in is a cream blush, so hopefully I can get through it a little faster than I ordinarily would. But I still have 16. Next year, I absolutely need to focus on some blush panning if I can. And I say that kind of lightly, only in the sense that I wear blush every day. It's not like I haven't been wearing blush or ignoring it. It's just such a hard product to finish. Like you get years worth of blush in an average pan. So I have some that I think I could potentially work through next year. So we'll see. All right, let's go to eyeshadow singles. In December, I had 9. In May, I had 10. And then now I have 12. The reason for that is twofold. One, I got in some single shadows from Lara. And then I also got a single shadow in from a birthday gift. You know, like I got the Laura Mercier set. So it had the powder and the eye crayon. I'm counting it as in. I haven't touched it or panned it or anything. So it's still brand new. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I don't know that I'm going to love that color. It seems really similar to Oyster Pearl from Charlotte Tilbury. So I think I'm going to ask Lara if she wants it because she might go for it. I don't know if she will. I have to talk to her. I haven't done that yet. But I just don't think that color is going to jive with me. Like it's a nice color, but it's not what I expected. So I've counted it as in because it's in. I could use it. I just haven't made up my mind up about it. And we're at 12. All right. For palettes, I had 12 in December, 13 in May, and then 14 now, which makes sense because I got in 2 eyeshadow palettes this year, one as a gift, and then one I bought in December in my Shop With Me video. I feel great about this category, and I think kind of 15 is my sweet spot, and I just had 15 in my head for a couple of years now, and even in 2020, I know I had more than 15, but 15 just feels like a manageable number to me that kind of gives some variety. So I'm keeping my mind open for some palettes next year. I do actually have my eye on a few. Why do I always take a drink when I'm talking? Like, that's one of my filming bad habits. I find it annoying to like watch somebody drink. Anyways. So I have my eye on a few, and I really would like to keep my palette collection at 15. That just feels like my number. So I don't think I'm going to pan anything next year. And there's also no palette that I feel like I want to declutter. So I think we'll have an interesting moment next year when we get to, do I buy a palette? And also if I do, or I'm interested in buying more than one, do I do that? Do I go to 16? Do I declutter one? Do I say, no, thank you, 15 is my number and I get one palette next year? That could be a fun exercise. We'll see. Let's get into lip products now. And I want to first talk about glosses. In December of last year, I had 12. May, I had 12. Now I have 11. And I've only panned 1 gloss this year, but I'm about to finish 2. This isn't a guess. It is a 100% certainty that I'm about to finish too. I've already taken the stopper out of my Fenty gloss, spoiler alert, but I mean, like, my Project Pan finale is only coming in a couple of days, so it's not like a huge spoiler. So this number is going to be at 8 before January. But because I haven't actually achieved that goal, I don't feel right about saying that I have 8. And also, I don't really care about fudging the numbers because I'm going to finish them eventually. And if my shopping kind of stays in the way that I hope it will, I'll see the progress eventually. Okay, lipsticks. In December, I had 22. In May, I had 24. And now I have 22. Listen, I only counted 21. I don't know if there's a lipstick that is missing somewhere or like one that's fallen in a bag. I've looked in all of my bags and I don't find anything. So I've only counted 21. There's must be one straggling around somewhere. I find this one a little bit of a mystery only because I have finished one lipstick this year. Am I just dumb? And that missing lipstick is the one that I finished? Editing Shauna, can you add some clarification? Because I could have sworn I went into that picture and then took out the one that I finished. So we're either at 21 or 22. Editing Shauna will tell us what it is. I didn't buy any lipsticks this year. I did get one in a set like in February. So there should be no reason why there would be an increase. I panned one, which is great. I've come to realize that I do have a lot of lipsticks, but a lot of them are in fun colors. And I bought one more fun color last year. I bought a red, and we're 1 year out of that purchase. And now I'm like, Shauna, why would you buy a drugstore red lipstick when you already have a great one from Pat McGrath? You have like a lip cream from Rare Beauty. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know what I was thinking now because they're like kind of duping each other out. And you're not going to see declutter from me this December because there's nothing for me to declutter. Like, I genuinely love everything that I have, or it's pannable. There's literally just 3 things, maybe 4 things that I don't know what to do with because ever since trying to think about my makeup collection in a sustainable way, I've come to really believe in taking ownership of everything that you bring in. And if I can't find a home for something, I feel like I just need to take one for the team and finish it. Not take one for the team, but I need to finish it because it's either going to go in the garbage or go in the garbage. Like, I've tried to give some of this stuff away but somebody doesn't want it. And it's not like it's old, and a lot of it just actually is pannable. So I feel like I need to take the ownership in finishing some of this stuff. So when it comes to lipsticks, that's going to be a tough ask when I have all of these red shades that are deep and bold, and I only wear bold colors, every so often. Okay, let's keep going, otherwise I'm going to get sidetracked. Liners. 6 in December, 6 in May, 6 now. I'm also cheesed about this one because for a while I did have 5. I spent nearly 2 years working on a lip liner only to get in a new one a couple months later and just having that effort feel like it's been totally wiped off the map. So I do just, for my own sake, I need to just say that I did finish a lip liner this year. Yeah, this year. And yeah, I just needed to say that. Eyeliner. 4 in December, 4 in May, 3 now. I did finish 1. I have been working on my brown eyeliner this year. I just don't use eyeliner that often. I mean, even I've had it on my desk and I've actually been cognizant of using it, even in my eyebrows, but I don't like eyeliner in every look. Yes, I'm becoming more of an eyeliner person, but I'm now understanding what looks I like with eyeliner and which ones I don't. So that brown one is not going to be finished up. And I also have a liquid liner. I don't use the liquid liner all that often, basically just when I use false lashes. So those two are good to have around, and ones that probably like just won't move all that much. Maybe I'll get through my brown eyeliner next year, but it's really the rotation of my waterline colors. I've had a pink and a peach color. So that's really where you see the movement on things going up or down, not the other ones. All right, mascara. Mascara, I had 3 in December, 2 in May, 3 now. I'm currently using 2, and I have 1 in backup that I did buy during an elf sale, and I knew I was buying it as a backup. And mascara is not a category that I currently have a problem buying a backup for, as long as it's just 1. That probably won't happen often, and hasn't happened a lot in the last year. So not a category to really worry about, and actually it's not a problem. For brows, I had 3 products in December, 3 in May, 4 now. This is a category where thinking about it, okay, 4 eyebrow products, a lot, no, but there's a bunch of stuff that I want to finish in here. 1 is my Mirror Brow Gel, and 2, I would really like to start using my Patrick Ta Brow Wax. I got that, I don't know when I got that, maybe in 2020 or 2021. Anyways, I've only used that a handful of times, and I love the look of that on my brows. So I really want to make a concerted effort this year, once I finish my Mirror Brow product, to get through or start using that product in my everyday makeup rotation. Eyebrows are not a category that I really need 4 products in, because 1 or 2 inevitably just hang around and will just be waiting until I finish what I have to use them. Having a pencil and a brow gel is probably the most that I want to have. And I have 3 brow gel products, which is why I'm like, this doesn't make sense. So this is like the bronzer situation where I use 1 product in one way, and I only need 1 product at a time. So having 3 doesn't make sense. For setting sprays, I had 1 in December, 1 in May, and I have 2 now. I am about to finish my NYX setting spray. Again, this is a when, not an if. So we'll be down to 1 in no time. 2 is not a big deal for me, especially when we're talking about 2 that do different things. Lastly, I have a misc category. And in previous years, I've put these products in their respective categories. So the misc category is like 0 for the other years, but there's nothing really new here except, no, the eyebrow gel's been counted. So there's nothing really new here. It's just, they're in this category because a lot of this stuff just doesn't belong somewhere else, or I don't know what to do with it. There's 2 items in here that are items that I would like to declutter, but I haven't, and I'm not using them. So I don't consider them to be part of my makeup collection, but they're still products I'm responsible for. I also have like an inner corner highlight that I have qualified as a highlight in the past, but I will never use this as a highlight. And I also did not buy this with the intention of using it as a highlight. So just for me, mentally, it doesn't belong there. It also doesn't belong in the eyeshadows because I won't use it as an eyeshadow. So there we are. Okay, so here are the final totals. And I'm going to give you 2 numbers. 1, counting all of my single shadows as 1 item. And then again, just counting my 1 palette as 1 thing instead of each individual single shadow like individually. So in December 2021, I had 140 products. In May, I had 142. Now I have 143. Interesting. We've gone up by 3 products since last year, which is not a big issue to me at all, especially because the numbers that have gone up, okay, the blush number going up is not a good thing because I did buy some blushes last year. But overall, the things going up are not in categories that are the most problematic. Okay, I guess I need to take that back a little bit because I did get a lip kit this year. I didn't buy that for myself, so it's kind of like that's a problematic category, but it didn't go up. Like I didn't go up because of me. In any case, I'm kind of more inclined to think of it as the 140 number only because I bought every single shadow I own individually. Like I spent money on them, but they only take up the space as one palette. For me, what matters in that category is the fact that I spent my money on them. But if you don't conceive of it that way, I'll give you the other number. In December, I had 117 items. In May, I had 119, and now I have 120. So whichever way you want to think about it, having those numbers. At the beginning of the video, when I talked about my perspective being different on makeup inventories, what I meant by that is when I started my no buy in 2020, I had a lot more in these categories, like in each category. My number was over 200. And yes, I have decluttered things along the way, but I've also used up a lot. I think at one point I had 10 or 11 mascaras, and now I'm regularly around 2 or 3. I've worked through my foundations and lipsticks, and I've sold some palettes as well. So, that's a good thing. But I started doing my makeup inventories because I just felt like I had so much stuff. I wanted to be able to hold myself accountable to finishing up what I have, and just doing a makeup inventory helps you see your progress over time and, see your numbers go down. I now feel like I have found my sweet spot in my makeup collection, and it's been around this 120 product mark for the last year. And I'm really happy with that. And I no longer feel this pressure to reduce my makeup and reduce the number of things that I own because I have found my sweet spot in most categories. Yes, there still are some that have relatively inflated numbers, like my blushes and also my lipsticks. I think those two in particular are like my biggest categories. My palette, surprisingly, it is up there in like my top 3, but we're talking like 13, 14 palettes. We're not talking 25 or 30. And as I've mentioned, the palette category, having that many doesn't really bother me because I can, have them for a long time. Blush is not so much the case. So now I am seeing a makeup inventory as a way to remind myself about my numbers and keep my goals in mind about just having a curated collection. And now seeing consistency actually feels really good because that means I'm working hard. But also what was a reminder for this inventory in particular is that I have done some really hard work with panning, eyeliners, foundations, concealers, blushes, and that work, like I have finished an entire Hourglass palette with the exception of the blushes, but they're, kind of separate. I spent almost 3 years working on that palette, and you can't really see that reflected in the numbers. And it's kind of heartbreaking to see, heartbreaking is a bit of an exaggeration, but maybe you can understand where I'm going with this. But it's really I don't know what word to use here. Frustrating maybe to know that you spent years working on something and that progress gets erased with one purchase. And so this is really a reminder of that it takes months, if not years, to finish some of these products. You work so hard. Getting my makeup collection down to like 90 products is not the goal, but being able to celebrate those wins and also having my numbers coming more reflective of that matters a lot to me. Now more so than in the past. And so accumulating more makeup erases a lot of that hard work. And really, when you think about it year to year, or when I think about it year to year, I forget some of the older products that I've owned because like I'm seeing these numbers like, 4. My mind goes, oh yeah, it's kind of in the same stuff. But no, I've spent months or years working on products. And here's the ultimate kicker. I forgot that I panned an eyeliner because I saw this number 666 across the board. I'm like, yeah, it's the same 6. forgetting the 2 years worth of work I spent on the eyeliner, that year and a half on, that lip liner. So makeup inventories are now a way for me to remember and celebrate the work that I've done in panning my stuff, and also keep this desire, this goal of a curated makeup collection top of mind. And makeup inventories still offer that level of accountability because now I get to make sure I'm keeping that goal in mind. And if I stray from that a little bit, I can, pick that up without, too much of a loss. And I also just get to see if I'm, embodying the goals that I want for myself. So there's not much that I would like to change for next year other than work on a few of the categories that feel slightly bloated to me. For me, that's bronzer, that's blush, and that's eyebrows, weirdly enough. I have 4 powders, which is kind of a lot for me, but not excessively a lot. It's enough to make me think twice about buying more, but I'm also not somebody who's really looking to powders to, just to bring them in. So those are my thoughts. Those are my final thoughts on my makeup inventory. And I think you'll see some makeup items on my no-buy list for next year, because I really do want to work on some of these categories. If you track your makeup inventories, how did you do this year? Do you compare numbers to like just 1 year, or how does that work for you? How did you do this year? Well, let a girl know in the comments. If you did great, I would love to know. But also if you feel like you didn't do great, let us know too. And we can, be there to support you and hopefully help you, cheer you on as you take on new goals next year. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me today. And love it if you would subscribe. And I hope to see you again around here soon. Bye.